We're going. We're trucking. It's cold.
What are you smoking now? It is a little chilly. It's a little nipply out.
A magician never reveals what he smokes.
You've
heard that phrase, right?
Since we are technically doing a cigar head-to-head, I'm going to laugh if that is your cigar and you're just now smoking it.
We'll find out.
That would be it would be pretty unfortunate.
Could you imagine going to a debate unprepared, and then when you get there ready with your notes, like, well, this ain't gonna work?
Oh, do you mean the presidential debate that happened 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You mean like that style debate?
Pretty much.
Where no one's prepared for anything because the only thing they want to do is really just slug it out on stage?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Fucking annoying.
Well, I heard your son is sleeping with a Chinese man. That's slander. That's absolutely false. That's absolutely false.
Yeah. It's fucking wild shit, man. This election's going to be weird as fuck. It's going to be the weirdest one in our life.
Here's the Polaroids of it, and then you show the Polaroids, but it's just like someone cut out their son's head and just put it on the Polaroid. Because that's all this is. This whole thing is like a fucking sham, dude. It's
it is.
It's all a bunch of lies, man.
Yeah, it drives me. It absolutely drives me nuts. Like the state of our country at this point is like this one huge, giant, satirical, laughable joke to the rest of the world.
It really is.
Where it's like United States has been hailed for having, a country that has their shit together for such a long time. And then now it's like everyone's watching it just fall to shit. There's like, oh, well, that's what we've all been raving and ranting about all these years.
While Russia's sitting around in their wife beaters and whitey tighties just going, yes.
It is going to be our time.
This is the time.
We're going to make our move. What was that movie? Where's that movie where Russia invades the U.S.? There's a movie that they made.
Red October.
Is that what it is? No, it's not it.
No, it's something like that, though.
Is it Red October?
I thought it was Red October.
What is it? Maybe it is, but then there was like part of the video game where it was the same
But
way.
it's not even just Russia. It's Russia. It's another country and another country.
Oh. Yeah, that'd be unfortunate, wouldn't it? That would suck.
And it had what's his face that played in Ghost? Patrick Swayze, yeah.
He was in it?
Yeah, he's the main character. He's one of the
brothers. Oh God, what is that movie?
Oh
God. No, I can't remember the movie. Isn't it called Hunt for Red October?
Maybe, but now I think that's a different movie.
It is. That's the one with Sean Connery.
Yeah, that's right. That's a different one.
I knew that's what it was. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. That's what it is.
You weren't too off with the red.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right. It was Swayze and Charlie Sheen.
Yep, that's his brother.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Very sad movie.
Is it?
Yeah, man.
I really kind of want to watch it.
All of them die except Swayze.
Oh, and then the irony, right? He dies in real life and the rest of them are living.
Yeah.
That'll fuck you.
Fucking Sheen with his tiger blood.
Dude, Rotten Tomatoes only gave it a 46. Is it that bad of a movie?
No, I liked it.
Really?
Yeah, it's also got the girl that's in Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze.
Jennifer Grey?
Yeah.
I don't think she's in it.
Yeah, she is. She blows herself up by laying on grenades when she gets shot and like blows up a bunch of bad people.
No way.
Swear to God.
Way.
Swear to God.
Hold on. I'm looking at this now.
I'm telling you, man. I watched this shit, man.
I like it how an estimated budget of $17 million and it made $8 million.
Yeah. I'm a movie buff, bro, man. I know everything, man.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, she is in it. Her name's Tony.
Yeah, she blows herself up.
Oh, damn.
She gets shot, and then she blows herself up when the enemy gets close. By laying on grenades.
I'm going to have to watch this. I think I've seen it before, but it was a long time ago.
Charlie Sheen gets, like, kidnapped, basically, and then Swayze breaks him out at the end, and then fucking Charlie Sheen still gets shot and dies in his brother's arms.
Damn, that's rough. Swayze's young in this movie. So that must have come out not that far after Dirty Dancing. This is 1984.
Do you think
Huh.
Swayze was a good person?
I think he was an asshole, but I think he was a good person.
Yeah.
I mean, people on set said he was kind of a nightmare. Like, even him and Jennifer Grey didn't get along. But I think it was more just because he
I
was
heard
a
he was just
perfectionist.
really
Obviously,
intense. He was really
this is
intense.
yeah, he was like really into the craft, so he didn't have time for bullshit, you know, like didn't have any patience for BS. I think it was more that than anything else, you know?
Yeah, like him on Roadhouse, I heard was pretty intense.
I mean, yeah, but look at his character. You have to be intense to play that character.
Yeah.
Do you think there's ever a world, in, like at least in our time, where Russia would try to invade us? Do you think that's a plausible and or reasonable thing to happen?
That fucking dog, dude.
Yeah, I know. There it is again.
It's like clockwork. It's like they want this dog to be outside all the time.
But why are you outside all the time?
Well, I have.
And why are you always at mom's? That's the other fucking weird thing.
I'm always over here because this is my day where she can spend time with Kale, but it's also my pickup day for all of my deliveries.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I have 2 giant TVs that I don't know how I'm going to move by myself.
Yeah, when are those showing up?
I have them. They're in her dining
They're
room.
at mom's? Are you serious?
I don't know what to do with them.
The 75-inch is going to be tough because that's a big one. The 65-inch is still tough. You couldn't fit that in your SUV.
Not likely. Not likely.
Well, here's the thing. As a TV guru, my friend, you can't lay them down. You've got to transport them standing up.
Fuck.
So you can't lay your shit down in the back and lay it down. That's number one rule is like, do not lay them down when transporting them because that fucking thing will shatter.
Shit.
Yeah. So you're going to have to figure out a way. You need Dad's truck, honestly. Dad's truck, stand them straight up. You could use my truck, but I think the 75-inch is too long because I think the 75-inch at the bottom, just the screen itself, not the box, is 63.4 inches. My truck bed is exactly 62 inches. So with the box is probably close to 70 inches. So it'll overhang. Can't close the gate on it. The 65 I could fit in my truck for sure. But the 75, very unlikely. You need a longer bed. You need like a 6-foot bed on the truck to get both and slide them both in and then strap them down.
Huh.
Yeah, I would definitely use Dad's truck to transport them. I mean, it's not that far. It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'll have to call him.
I can't believe you bought both of those TVs. That's dope. They're both awesome, by the way. I mean, you had that 75-inch you bought's the same one that I have.
They look the same.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, it's the same one. I looked at the part number on it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the 65 is the exact same thing.
Yeah, the same model number, just 65. Yeah. Those TVs are dope. They're really, really nice. I've finally gotten used to mine a little bit.
Maybe I'll call Dad right now and ask him. Like, yo, Dad.
But also maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, I'll save that. I don't know if you guys want to like talk to Dad, but
people actually have requested before, like, get your dad back on the show. He's hilarious. I'm like, well, he's hilarious in small doses.
Yeah, when he tries to be funny, he's not funny.
He's not funny. Yeah. And then he'll say something funny unintentionally, and people will laugh, and they'll be like, oh, now I've got to be on.
He gets super jazzed.
Yeah. Then he ruins it because then it's no longer funny. Because Dad is not a traditionally funny person. Dad is funny because of he's funny because he's not funny. You know what I mean? Like, he has this strange personality that in the things he does, which are very intentional, and it is who he is as a person. His character is funny, but it's not intentionally funny.
Yes.
He's not a fucking comedian.
Agreed.
Yeah. He's like the old crazy neighbor on a sitcom. You know what I mean? Like, the character is not meant to be funny.
Yeah.
But because the character is who it is, it ends up being funny.
Yeah.
God, I was gonna ask you a question. I forget what I was gonna ask you.
Kelsey's butt plug came out today.
Gross. You mean mucus plug?
Mucus plug.
Yeah. See, even I knew what a mucus plug was.
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah, baby coming any day now.
So is like the mucus plug like essentially like a bathtub drain? Is that like what it is? and then you pop it off and everything rushes down the drain?
That's essentially what it's designed for, yeah.
Really? So did anything fall out?
No, just the mucus plug.
But what does that look like? I'm curious. Is it like
You really want to know?
intestinal fluid? Like, is it goopy?
It looks like a.
Is it like mucusy and blood? I'm hold on. Before you tell me what it looks like, let me tell you what I imagine a mucus plug
Okay,
looks like.
go for it. Yeah.
There's times where I get sick and you get real mucusy,
Yeah.
and you kind of cough up and you get like this nasty loogie, but it has like it's got a little bit of blood in it, and it's just like it's kind of thick, but it's also really like almost filmy.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a bloody cum wad. That's
Yeah.
what I imagine a mucus plug looks like.
Well, Corey, you nailed it on the head. I mean, essentially, take that amount that might come out of your sinus and multiply it by 3.
Ew. And that came out of the old hole, huh?
Yeah, the cervix. Yeah.
But where does it go? Like, does it come out? Like, is it like in the toilet? Is it like a toilet
It
plug
usually
now?
comes out when they pee. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh. So it's like, oh.
So imagine your vagina just decides.
Can you feel it? Like, can she feel it though?
I don't know. I don't think so. But just imagine your vagina at one point in its life just wants to hock a loogie into the toilet.
You think we could call her and ask her what it feels like?
If she picks up, yeah.
Can we do that? Would she be able to hear me?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Is she with her parents?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely can't have her dad hear me ask her this question.
Yo, Kelsey, you're on the show. Can we ask you a question about this big snot loogie thing?
I'm real curious about what a mucus plug feels like when it exits the body. Is it like a water slide? What's it like?
I imagine it just makes it sound like.
Oh, yeah, like hawking a loogie, like
right.
spitting it out between your lips. I really do kind of want to ask her. I'm not going to lie. I'm very curious about this.
Well, we could set up a Q&A live session on Instagram if you want.
Oh, no. Let's not do that. Well, I mean, the good news is this baby's coming, right? It's October 16th. So you suspected that the baby would come early. Now anticipating that it probably will.
Yep.
So you thinking like the next week maybe?
Yep.
Dude, that's going to be wild. There's just too much shit going on right now, man. It's crazy.
Life is wild, bro.
Yeah, it is.
And for any of you young bucks and studs out there, let me give you a piece of advice. Eat
the mucus plug.
The penis and the whole vagina relationship is a beautiful thing. It feels amazing. And instinctually, we are lions, man. We inherently want to just and instinctually just want to create our own pride. And that's comes on 2 levels. You need to take pride in making a child, and you have pride because you want to make a pride, which is a group of lions that you ostensibly are the alpha of. But let me tell you,
you're like 2 levels of prideful.
You are. But let me just tell you, for any of you young bucks, you millennials out there, having a child is a lot different than having a cub. Like a cub, another lion could just eat your cub, kill it, right? And within about a year, that cub is off living its own life, trying to make its own pride. But in human biology, humans, when we create our own prides, you have to open up life insurance policies. You got to start saving for college. You got to teach it to piss and shit in a toilet because you're not living out in the Sahara.
Good point.
You have to teach it to feed itself because it's not instinctual. And you basically have to teach it how to live in a society that is well beyond just kill or be killed.
Right.
And you're stuck with it for 18 plus years,
Yeah, sometimes longer.
Right. So before you begin to think about sending off your little white seed, right, into the vajayjay, of a female human being, because it could be a goat, and I would say to each their own. If you have sex with a goat and you come inside of a goat, I don't think you have to worry about babies. But if it's a human and you come inside that human, you may regret it if you aren't ready for it.
Right.
So pull-out method is key. Contraceptives is key.
That's the key. Pull-out method is not the key.
Birth control. If a woman tells you she's on birth control, don't listen to her.
Don't believe her.
She's a fucking liar.
It's a trap.
So that's all I'm saying, you know? So
yeah.
thankfully,
yeah.
I love this woman to death. But if you get that inkling when you're with your girlfriend tonight and you're like, tonight's the night I come in her, I want you to think twice. I want you to think twice about doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're better off shooting. You're better off shooting in your own hand than you
That's
are.
True.
Dude, you're playing. It's like gambling, man. You're playing with the odds.
Sometimes the person you're having sex with, you might not even realize it, but they could be your brother.
That's true.
You know, having a baby with your brother, you know? So you gotta be super careful about where you're putting your seed and whether, you know what I'm saying? So that's my life lesson to the audience.
Yep. Well then, yep. That's a thing.
That's a thing.
Oh man. That's funny. Oh shit. Anyway.
But the Halloween season's upon us.
Yeah, spooky.
Are you doing anything?
Oh.
Minus the wedding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to our cousin's wedding, which you will not be present at.
No, I won't be.
So that is my entire Halloween plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, actually.
Yeah.
Although I feel like I've really been putting Brent through the ringer with this real estate shit, because obviously, I mean, you know how I am. Like, I've got patience to a degree, but patience runs out. And, you know, we've had our house for sale, our other house for sale. You know, I currently own 2 homes, which is not ideal unless, you know, you're a rich person, which I am not. So owning 2 homes is not an ideal situation. Yeah, so he's obviously, and I feel bad, preoccupied, you know, with his wedding coming up very quickly. And here I am shooting off texts like, when the fuck are we closing on this house? Because our close date is technically supposed to be Monday. They asked for it was supposed to be yesterday. They asked for an extension until this coming Monday. We complied because what else are we going to do? And then I hear from them yesterday that they want to extend it another couple days because there's something that they're doing with their house and something happened with the appraisal, blah, blah, blah. And I literally text them. I go, not my fucking problem. Not my fucking problem. I'm closing on Monday. I don't care if they don't want to or whatever the situation is. I'm fucking closing Monday. So Brent, I think Brent knows I'm difficult to deal with, but it's not because I'm an asshole. It's just because I'm losing my patience for something that has been just a real big pain in my ass for months.
Yeah.
So it's just, I told him, I said, I'm at my limit. And once I hit my limit, it's done. Like, then I become a fucking prick. And not to him. It's not his fault, but you know, he's my mouthpiece, right? He's the realtor. I can't communicate with the other realtor or the buyers directly. So it's like, I have to funnel and filter everything through him. And it's not a shoot the messenger type thing, but it's like, hey, I need these people to understand the severity of this situation. And we need to get this fucking moving because that's what the agreement is. Like, I've run out of patience. I've run out of flexibility. It doesn't exist anymore. All the while he's like, obviously worried about his wedding coming up in less than 2 weeks. So, you know, part of me feels bad, but it's at the same time, I'm like, we got to get this rolling. Plus, the quicker it closes, the more money he has in his pocket. So it's like, it's advantageous for everybody.
Yeah, for his honeymoon, man.
Dude, yeah, I mean, like, bought and sold 2, you know, major houses, and he's done really good the past few months. It's, you know, probably rolling in dough right now, which is fucking great. This obviously adds that. I would say it's a pretty good bonus based upon our sell price. So it's like, yeah, let's get this fucking going. But, you know, I am really excited for his wedding though. it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to dress in all black, which is
the only thing
what's supposed to do it.
I'm doing because I can't go to the wedding and really experience a good Halloween season is I've been getting real high and fucking watching scary movies when Kale goes to bed.
What have you been watching? I'm curious.
Well, last night I watched Vampires versus the Bronx, which
yeah, that's on Netflix.
which was fucking
Is
horrible.
that Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Netflix, right?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, I was gonna watch that, but I declined.
I mean, it's
Like,
when I saw PG-13, I should have known. I should have known.
For sure. There's no good scary movie that's PG-13.
No, there's no blood. There's no nothing. It's just like all the deaths happen like after the scene is already cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You kind of see a bite, but you never see like penetration. Not sexually, but just like teeth going into flesh. You don't see it.
Right.
So it was just kind of like, and it was a bunch of kids that were like fighting off like a very old like nest of vampires that moved into the Bronx.
Yeah.
So it was just like real fucking just childish, and it just like was a real shallow story.
Yeah. I mean, I saw like a bit of the trailer and just looked at the cover on it on Netflix, and I could already tell that. I was like,
I started watching The Haunting at Bly Manor.
Yeah, Lauren finished that. She liked it.
I've grown bored with it. I'm on episode 7 and I'm bored with it.
Isn't there only like 8 episodes?
Yeah.
I got real bored with it after like 3, but apparently it's like a huge hit. But I don't know. I'm
probably not going to finish.
Yeah, I'm one episode left. You're like, I'm out. What did I watch? I've been watching this Hulu series called Monsterland. That's kind of cool.
I want to start that. I started episode 1 with the diner girl, and that's it.
Yeah. It's actually real. So I thought it was a consecutive story, but each episode is different. Each episode's a different story, and I'm on episode 4 now. I actually like it. Lauren didn't like it that much, but what I like about it, because I like thinkers, is there's like a social. It's almost like I would say a lesser degree of Black Mirror, and of course it's meant to be horror or
supernatural or suspense.
Yeah, supernatural. Yeah, but it's got that kind of feel. So to me, it's like there's a social connection to it. And like even after the first episode, because like I really didn't know what the show was about, so I didn't know it was supposed to be connected in that way. But after I watched it, I'm like, oh, I get it. Like I get the symbolism in it, and it's real fucking cool. That's my favorite part about it is like it connects to like things that are currently happening in the world.
Yeah, I watched Hubie, or I think it's Hubie Halloween.
Hubie was fucking hilarious.
It was funny. It was funny.
So like. It takes me a little while to get used to Adam Sandler, some of his characters where he does the dopey voice.
Yeah.
But even I told Lauren last night, like we watched it and I wasn't real thrilled about it when it first started. I was like, it's going to be one of those like really shoddy Adam Sandler movies, kind of, like there's just some of them that aren't great. But I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought by the end of it, I was like, man, that was really funny. Like it's a decent story, but it's good comedy. It's all those characters that you love, like all the actors, all of his friends. It took me halfway through the movie to realize the sheriff was Kevin James.
Oh yeah, same. It took a while for me too.
I was like, is that fucking Kevin James? And Lauren's like, yeah. How did you not know that? I was like, I didn't realize it was him. He did. I thought he did a great job.
I think who stole the show, weirdly enough, and he didn't have a lot of parts in it, but was his neighbor werewolf.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Walton.
That's the best character in the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I thought he was so funny. And then that Rob Schneider was the other guy. Spoiler 3, 2, 1. He was the other guy from the insane asylum. Just
went to go get him. Just went to go get him. Escaped to go get him.
Like, I just wanted you back. I thought that was incredible. I thought it was a really fucking.
That was another one of my high shows. Like that was one.
Oh, dude, I would have loved to have watched that under certain conditions.
Because I start melting into my seat in my couch, and I'm just like slightly squinty and just like have this half frowned smirk on my face, like.
Yeah, it's the best. Yeah. That would have been a great movie to do that. I don't know what I'm gonna watch tonight. I've actually been on kind of a continuing trend of like horror film. But you know what I didn't want to do is like I didn't want to recap or like rewatch things I've watched in the past unless I really like them. Like,
Same.
you know, we went to the drive-in movies, you know, for my birthday and watched Beetlejuice and Lost Boys. And Lost Boys was one that I was going to watch, but it's like I just watched it and I just watched Beetlejuice, and those two are available to stream. And I was like, I want to do something different, but I don't watch Halloween again. I don't watch all 7 of them. I don't want to watch the Jason ones. I don't want to watch those traditional horror movies. Like, I want to watch something that's a little bit different.
You know what?
Also, we had this. So sorry, I wanted to
You're
interrupt
good.
you just real quick because I think you can chime in on this. Being you're more of a sci-fi horror advocate than I think you are like the realism or nonfiction stories.
Correct. Yeah.
But I know you've seen this movie, and there was we were talking to somebody as far as like what is the scariest movie of all time, and I forget who we were talking to, but I allowed that person to answer first, and they said Strangers, and then of course I agreed with them because it to me is like literally the scariest movie in existence.
Because it could be very real.
Dude, fucking that movie freaked me the fuck out when I first saw it.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what's the scariest movie, both fiction and nonfiction?
Fiction, I still have to give it to either Exorcism or Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot really fucks
But
with
are
me.
those actually fiction?
That's true. I also like still get really creeped out by any werewolf movie. So, like Silver Bullet when I was growing up really fucked with me.
Silver Bullet I would agree with you. That one's to me that one's really really creepy.
Yeah.
Like Silver Bullet is definitely up there in terms of like it's got there's certain suspenseful parts to the movie, and there's certain secrets to the movie that I think cause it to be really really fucking creepy.
Now this might be still tethering fiction, but the first Paranormal Activity really fucked with me.
Yeah, that was a creepy one too. Yeah.
That fucked with me.
Is that the one at the end where like the fucking ghost like snaps the dude's back?
Yep.
Whatever,
like breaks him in half and then drags him through the hallway at the end.
Yeah.
What
Dude,
the fuck?
That shit's creepy. That one did freak me out. Yeah, I put that on like the same level as like Strangers. Like it's that kind of fucking creepy, that suspenseful creepy. I'll tell you what, to me, one of the most underrated is like Conjuring. Conjuring was
good.
Like the first, man, that fucking movie was creepy as shit. Because that has that it has a real feel because it's based on true events, but you know they're not true. It has that real feel, but it has like but they hype up the fiction to it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost exaggerated. And I like the combination of those two. There's something that creeps me about like stories where they say like based on true events or based on events in this town or whatever. And you're like, what? Like that to me heightens the level of like creepiness about the movie. I personally like stuff that's like based on true events or true stories than I do stuff that is just made up personally.
Yeah, it just brings it a little bit more real, man. That's it. You know, it's just like that shit could happen to me.
Yeah, because in your head you're like, well, you know, those fucking creepy neighbors I have across the street, are they like that? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, 'tis the season though, man. It's I like Halloween just because I like fall personally. I like the autumn season, especially in Ohio. We're getting a lot of that right now, and trees are turning, you know, from green to yellow to that luscious red. And I like that. I like the brisk air, like you're in it right now. To me, it's the best. That dry, crisp air is like beautiful. So there's something about the season that I like, as short as it is. And I think when it's interlaced with Halloween and like scary movies and bonfires and all that shit, it's like, what gets better? There's nothing better than that. There's no better season than fall. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, man. I love it.
Yeah. I dig it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of, so today we are not doing a traditional review. We decided to do another head-to-head challenge, and based on one sole factor, and that is the cigar's got to be Halloween themed.
It has to be spooktacular.
It's got to be Halloween themed. You know, we decided we were trying to think of factors yesterday and the day before in terms of like, okay, we're going to do this head-to-head challenge for the episode, but what are we going to do? And I can't believe it wasn't as obvious as it should have been. We had to do something spooky. We had to do something spooktacular.
The rules are It has to be a spooky label or name, something that is costume oriented or maybe shows the spirit of Halloween season with black and orange. Maybe it's some sort of spooky name. But all in all, that's it. That's it. Something
That's
that
it.
sounds spooky, looks spooky, and maybe is colored spooky.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
That's it.
Any Vitola goes, any price, doesn't matter.
Yep, doesn't matter. And the way that we do cigar head-to-heads is that one of us will begin and we will say which cigar that we picked and what we liked about the cigar and why we think this cigar should be the standout cigar in the head-to-head challenge. What
That's
we will
correct.
do afterward is put out a poll to the collective audience. Chris and I don't decide which one's better. We don't collectively come to better. Like Chris isn't going to convince me that his is better than mine. I'm not going to convince him mine's better than his, but we allow the audience to decide which cigar they think is better.
Now, this isn't necessarily predicated on the idea that one cigar is superior than the other. Maybe it is. But ultimately, which one's the spookiest to smoke for this Halloween season?
And we never created a condition that if we both pick the same cigar.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There's that.
There is always the possibility that Chris and I could choose the same cigar. We hope that we don't put it in. In any factor that we do, we're still going to discuss the cigar as far as why we like it, and marvel in the fact that out of all the cigars in existence, we chose the same one.
Now, if this is a political debate and Corey picks the same thing as me, we believe in the same policies, the same moral and ethical values, family values, right? World causes. If we pick the same thing and he says, well, I believe in this and this, and I'll be like, well, I have nothing further to add to my opponent's answers.
I have nothing further, Your Honor. Yeah.
I agree with my opponent, and this is why I will lose.
Sir, you are a defense attorney. I am well aware. My client is guilty. All right, let's get into it. Who wants to start first? Rochambeau?
Do you want to do maybe like rock, paper, scissors?
That's literally what Rochambeau is, but yeah.
Well, I don't know acronyms.
Yeah, let's do it. You ready?
All right. Fuck.
All right. So you go first. I will default to you.
Okay. We could have just flipped a coin.
Could have definitely done that too.
I don't have a coin though. My spooky Halloween cigar for this head-to-head challenge debate is the Green Zombie Collector's Edition by VJJ.
Oh. And I like how you called him VJJ because somebody likes him. So, to just put it in context, Viaje, everything that they create is technically special edition, and they always come out with a Halloween special edition every single year. So this one is, what is it, Chris? I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar with the cigar.
So this one is the Green Zombie Collector's Edition by Viaje. This is a 2020 release, collector's edition. It is modeled after the first release of the Green Zombie that wasn't a collector's edition back in 2016. Since then, it's been a very popular cigar with Viaje, and they decided to release it this year as a homage to Halloween.
Okay, nice. Nice. I love it. So get into the components of the cigar.
Okay, I can do that for you.
Then you dictate to me why you love this cigar so much, or why you think this should be the clear choice, the clear winner.
Well, what I'll do is I'll give you the rundown of what's in the cigar, but then I also want to hear what yours is, and then we'll have our debate.
Sure.
Construction, burn, and flavor. See, the Green Zombie Collector's Edition by Viaje is comprised of undisclosed, and undisclosed.
So, wow, it's a Nicaraguan Puro. Great. Continue.
It comes in a figurata, which is a 5.5 by 54 ring gauge, and comes at a price point of nearly or around $15.
Oh, that's steep for not knowing what you get.
That's true, but it is a zombie, so I expected it to live a lot longer than a normal cigar.
Okay, that's fair. Now, what I'm going to do, Chris, is I'm going to rewind us back to 2018. And like Viaje, this is always a traditional Halloween release and has been since the late 2000s. I'm bringing to everybody today the Tatuaje Bride.
Ooh.
The Bride release in 2018, rolled by none other than my father. And it boasts a Connecticut broadleaf rosado, Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan flavor. By the way, smoke this in a Churchill Extra, which is a 7 1/8 by 49. It's the only Vitola this comes in, and it hovers in right around the $13 price point.
Oh, so 2 pricey Halloween spooky spectacular cigars.
Yes, sir.
Good choice, Corey. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, yeah, sure, zombie's a cool name. It's pop culture at this point. But, you know, we don't know what's in this. And I think it's fair to say, yeah, we don't know what's in this zombie, but do we know what's in any zombie? No. We know that it's infected. We know that it's reanimated tissue from some type of virus or comet. But don't worry about its innards because it's all decaying anyway. Just pay attention to the construction of this zombie, because this construction on this zombie, this figurado, looks like a perfecto. You know, it looks like a mashed football. You know, like when you go to the sports shop and you buy a football, but they're not pumped up yet. They're just kind of like, you know, like real flaccid looking. You know, that's what this one looks like. It sports a very, very dark wrapper. So I'm curious as to what type of Nicaraguan tobacco was used in this, but it has black marbling, almost as if it is truly decaying. You know, like when you get necrosis, Corey? Have you ever had necrosis or maybe a severe form of diabetes?
Nope, can't say that I have.
Well, if any of you are out there and you're missing toes due to diabetes, you would know that your body will go through various stages of necrosis, whether bitten by a zombie or some severe form of diabetes. So while your toes might get black, your fingers might get black and they fall off, that's pretty close to how a zombie's life is. And I think that's kind of how this cigar looks. It looks like it's maybe, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 weeks dead at this point. You know, it's still kind of held together, but you don't know if it's going to make it any longer than that. But it's definitely sporting some necrosis on various places. It does smell a little funny. I think that's probably because it's dead, but it smells a little funny. It looks like it's dead. I think, and while it might be a little squishy in places, it was just it was like a prototypical zombie in my opinion. I thought the construction was super solid. It plays the part on this Halloween season. My construction, Corey, on this zombie was actually very representable. I am curious if your bride will be able to outlast or outlive such a pop cultured icon monster.
What I will say, in the construction specifically on mine, you've got to think about this as a Churchill Extra. It's a very long cigar, but the Bride of Frankenstein, she's a tall woman. So
But
to be expected in the Vitola.
She's got 4 feet of hair too.
She's got 4 feet of hair. This cigar, and mind you, I picked up the cigar when it first originally released. I got 2 of them. I currently have 3. I picked one up a couple weeks ago. Believe it or not, I actually got my hands on one, surprisingly. But I've had 2 that have sat in my humidor for quite some time. Let's rewind back to the release of the cigar back in 2018. I've put it in only the best conditions in my best humidor. And I have to say that this cigar, like the Bride of Frankenstein, is near flawless. Absolutely beautiful cigar. that beautiful rosado color. It's not like a traditional Connecticut broadleaf in terms of that real dark, rich, toothy. Is actually pretty smooth, but very oily.
Yeah.
Which you don't expect a lot of oil from your bride. Usually she washes her face every day. But this one had a bit of sheen to him. Had a little bit of a clear coat. I couldn't believe the fact that I've held on to this, transported it multiple times over 2 years, that it was in such flawless condition. I would argue from a construction perspective, out of all the cigars that I've had recently, this is probably one of the best ones I've seen. And unlike you, I would imagine, I do have photo imagery to prove how beautiful it is.
Oh.
So the evidence is there. Construction, absolutely amazing on the cigar.
Interesting. Well, Corey, here's the thing. Your construction might look better than mine. I get it. But
Yeah, yours is a flaccid football.
But let's not forget what the zombie represents from a burn standpoint. Have you ever tried to burn a zombie, Corey?
No, but I've seen it on TV.
A little hard to kill, isn't it?
Not really.
It's a little hard to kill?
But I would argue it's not hard to kill because I've seen The Walking Dead, and it seems like zombies are insanely easy to kill.
Yeah, if you take out their heads. But the last thing you want to do is deal with the zombie that's fucking with you when it's on fire. It's one thing to dodge a zombie that's trying to nip at you, right? Bite you, turn you into them. It's another thing to have one that's trying to bite and nip at you that's also on fire, right? It's a formidable foe at that point. And I think with the burn of this VJJ green zombie is that on the burn, Corey, it's a formidable foe to your bride. I don't think you want to fuck with an on-fire zombie. Now, sure, it burns a little wonky. It's a bunch of, dying flesh falling off of it. It did burn a little wonky, I'll admit, but it had a nice dark grayish ash, which was very on par with, I think, a zombie as well. Took about 3 or 4 good puffs to kind of get good smoke production on it. I think it's probably because its figurado football shape makes it a little bit challenging in the beginning, but all in all, once it opened up, it was a wonderful burn experience. The one thing that I will say about it is that when you got to the bulbous part of this zombie, it was like super airy and always was offering like a cool draw, if that makes sense. Like, I'm so used to huffing through cigars so quickly.
Like almost like the point where it's about to go out.
Right. But it always, like, every time I breathe through, it's like a nice cool draw from it. The burn out, I think it beat me on construction, but on the burn, I thought this cigar was quite exceptional just because of how cool it drew from it. Smoke production was a little challenging. Did it ever go out? No. Burned a little wonky? Sure. But I thought the burn experience was quite enjoyable on the zombie. What about yours?
Chris, we talk about this pretty often on the podcast. What inherent challenges would come with a Vitola so long and so wide as a 7 1/8 by 49?
Well, Corey, I think the challenges would be the following. That you constantly have to smoke on it to keep it lit. And the chances of it going out, even when you're puffing on it every 30 seconds to a minute, still runs the risks of having some outages.
And you know what? I would agree with you. However, that isn't what happened in this case. 0 outages, no harsh smoking conditions whatsoever, amazing consistency. And by the way, like the bride's beautiful interlaced black, gray, and white hair is the same color ash that somehow this cigar exhausted. Absolutely beautiful. And Chris, by the way, and another factor of this particular debate, I actually have photo evidence to prove exactly what I'm saying right now. For this cigar, the draw is absolutely amazing. Like the construction, near flawless. The exhaustion of the ash was beautiful to say the least. It literally mimicked the bride's 4 foot tall standing hair. In addition to that, the consistency of the cigar through an entirety of 7+ inches was absolutely amazing. I would typically never say this, and this would never be my breakdown of most Tatuaje cigars or any cigar of this Vitola. However, this one surprised and shocked me with what I would argue is one of the best burn experiences I've had in quite some time. Not only was I shocked, I love the idea that it was so smooth and so consistent through the burn experience. To me, indicative of a true female cigar, which is why I picked the bride. Is it female month? Can we call October female month?
Sure.
When women rise up. This cigar to me was surprisingly perfect.
Moderator, can I rebuttal? Can I rebuttal? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Everything you put on paper, Corey, for this bride sounds like it's a pretty good cigar so far. But it's starting to feel like it's a bit too tame, a little bit too easy of a monster to deal with, in my opinion. When you're fighting monsters, do you want to fight one that's easy to fight off or one that you got to fucking really put in the effort to fucking kill it? You know? Do you want to put it, do you want to be fucking insanely scared or frustrated with your monster? I think everybody does, right? Right? Sounds like your monster's a little too tame.
I mean, I guess if this is a video game.
With mine will give you challenges that you'll want out of a Halloween edition cigar. Do you see what I'm saying?
Do explain.
Well, the thing is, it's a monster, man. You want to be on edge with it, you know? Like if this was a movie, you don't want to watch some PG-13 Vampires versus the Bronx type movie where you walk away from it like, well, that didn't scare me, or that wasn't that wasn't really entertaining. That didn't throw me for a curveball. But with the zombie, man, yeah, it might seem like it's an easy thing to overcome and tame, but I feel like mine is a little bit chaotic, you know? And you got to embrace the chaotic nature of this green zombie. It's not going to be perfect, you know? But it'll be entertaining. And when you walk away from it, you'll be like, woo, I didn't think I was going to make it out of that one. And I think that's the feeling you want from a Halloween cigar. You want to be walking away from like, I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't think I was going to come out of that. I think that's what you want in a Halloween cigar. Do you see what I'm saying?
What it sounds like to me is that you didn't actually appreciate the flavors.
Well,
what it sounds like to me is you had quite a bit of underlying disappointment in this Viaje special edition Halloween cigar that you called a zombie.
Nah, I won't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. That's all lies. That's all lies that you're spewing from your face. On the flavor, though, it is so on point with the blend of the name of the cigar and the blend of the cigar. The notes I got from this were mild bitterness, a little bit of spice, and a strong fucking meatiness. Like if you've ever chewed on a zombie, like this is what you get, man. This real raw kind of meatiness, maybe like some dry aged or some like jerky. That's what you get out of this goddamn green zombie.
Do you think that's what they mean by undisclosed components of the cigar?
Probably. But the flavors were solid. Did they change up a lot? No. You know, it's a zombie. You know, it is what it is. It's a slow-moving, highly contagious creature that is comprised of a lot of flesh. And I think you get that in this one. You get a certain amount of meatiness with the Viaje that makes it the perfect Halloween cigar. Now, will I say I enjoy eating zombie? Not all the time. In this case, yeah, sure, I love it. But it was a very consistent flavor. It was very on point with the brand. And I think that made it all the more enjoyable, in my opinion. So I want to know, when it comes to your bride, does she truly represent the marvel and the mysticism and the spirit in her flavors for the Halloween season, bro?
Chris, before I get into it, what I would like to say is the lies spewing from your teeth remind me of Kamala Harris in the last vice president debate. And when I say that, I mean it's overtly obvious. Now, to answer your question, I'm gonna ask you a question. Chris, when you associate the bride with Frankenstein, what do you feel about Frankenstein? What does the Frankenstein monster represent to you?
A zombie.
It's pretty much a zombie. This is pretty accurate. What I was going to say is rough around the edges.
Sure.
Monstrous being.
Big. Stout.
Unpredictable. Stout. When you think about the monster's bride, what do you think about?
I think about Frankenstein laying her down against her will.
Blasting her with that
Blasting
giant fucking stitched up flesh hog.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
What I think about Chris when I
bitch.
Think about,
What I'm saying is she's a bitch.
What I think about the bride in terms of Frankenstein, I think about it like the yin and the yang. You have this rough and tumble, very raw characteristic that is Frankenstein's monster. But the yin to the yang in terms of the bride is a more sensible human being, a lover, the balance of Frankenstein. This cigar, to me, exuded just that, a sensibility, more mild characteristics, not bombastic, not heavy. You asked the question earlier in terms of, do you want to fight a monster that's challenging, that has a sense of reward, or do you want something that's a little bit easy? But I would argue that the bride is not a monster you want to fight. The bride is a monster that you want to be on your side, to help calm the situation, to be the yin to the yang.
Well, I think there's a certain amount of synonym here to what is monster to what is a wife. You know, wives are monsters. You know, they can be.
Characteristically, most wives are monsters. We spend exactly one day marrying them and the rest of our lives trying to avoid them.
Trying to run from them. Yeah. Fair point.
What I will say about the flavors of the cigar, unlike others in the Monster series, is this is a more medium strength, medium bodied cigar. It doesn't have the impact that the other cigars in the Monster series have. What I liked about this cigar from the get-go was that it was void of all pepper spice, which is a traditional characteristic for most Tatuaje or My Father cigars. What it boasted at the beginning was an earthiness and had some of that cinnamon spice component to it, which you know that I'm a fan of. I love cigars that have that, the spice component, a little bit of that herbalness, I think is always a great way to start a cigar. And it transitions pretty quickly into like this subtle woodiness, and one of which I would say is absolutely phenomenal on the retrohale. In addition to that, where you get a little bit more of that mild, more tame bride characteristic at the beginning, the bride ends up showing a little bit of a darker side towards the end. where the flavor starts to amplify and it does become a little bit more spice heavy and that earthiness amplifies. That bride is taking no more shit. That bride is turning herself into her own monster. And the cigar finishes at this heightened level, this elevation of full flavors. It crescendos from beginning to end, almost like a traditional Cuban cigar, but I would say from a flavor perspective, even more profound.
Yeah.
This cigar to me, in consideration of all Tatuaje cigars or anything that I've smoked that would be limited edition or Halloween-esque, if you will, is one of the better cigars I've had in quite some time. And I will say, the fact that I got a tall, lengthy bride at 7 1/8 by 49, what a treat. What a treat she was.
Interesting. Well, I guess we got to break it down now at this point to, is your cigar worth the price and is mine worth the price? Now, I will say this. Mine is a rare collector's edition. You know?
Can I rebuttal real quick?
Sure.
All Viaje cigars are rare collector's editions because they have no stability in ongoing production cigars.
No. But this one is like a collector's edition of a collector's edition.
But why would you have, let me also make this argument, rebuttal number 2. If you were meant to smoke a cigar, how does it become a collection edition cigar?
Fair point. Yeah, the idea of collecting goes against the idea of smoking. That's true. But I'm not one to keep a zombie like in Shaun of the Dead in my fucking shed to play video games with. I want to kill it. You know, I don't want to hold on to it. I don't need it as my buddy. You know? You're dead. And I'm going to make you dead. I'm going to make you dead. So I ain't going to keep this thing in the shed, you know? You're not my friend. I'm here to cut your head off. I'm here to end you, right? It's me or you. In a survivalistic standpoint, it's me or you. And I want to do whatever it takes to stop that ticker from making your dead, rotting, nasty smelling flesh from continuing to move on this earth and potentially infect others with your virus. Now, that might go against the idea, if you read between the lines, that might go against the idea of me saying, you should smoke this when I'm telling you that maybe you shouldn't, but because we don't want to infect any more people. But that's the way I see it. So is mine worth $15 of a collector's edition cigar? No, I don't want to hang on to it. You know, I don't want to spend the money to have this. You know, I think it's a little bit overpriced in my opinion, but all is fair in the zombie apocalypse, I guess. So I don't think mine's worth the money, in all fairness. What about you?
So $13 to me is steep for most cigars. It aligns itself from a price point perspective right along where I think we benchmark like a Liga Privada number 9. And there's a lot of benchmark cigars that hover in that $12 to $15 range. Understanding that this was a limited release back in 2018 and also understanding this cigar is over 7 inches long, 49 ring gauge. With the smoking experience I had and with the flavors that this cigar boasted, it would be more often than not, it'd be rare for me to say that the $13 price point would be appropriate. But goddamn, man, it was really appropriate for this cigar. I have 2 more of these, and I cannot wait to smoke them. As a matter of fact, I bought this cigar for the 3rd time. I've had it before already. So I bought it at a humidor back in 2018 in Chicago. I bought 2 more to take home with me. I somehow found one of these brides 2 weeks ago at a place local to me. it makes me want to go back and buy a few more. In the Monster series, of which I've had not all of them, but I've had quite a few of them, this is definitively, in my opinion, the best one. And the fact that it is a limited edition, technically, right?
Yeah.
But although still somewhat available.
Yeah.
Not only for the rest of them is it probably the best, but it just in terms of fucking good cigars, it's one of the better cigars I've had in a long time. So where I would traditionally say not worth the $13, I think it's worth the $13. I really do. And as a matter of fact, I want to go spend $13 more on this cigar.
See that bird right there?
I do see that bird.
He just fucking laughed at me. He was like,
it's coming to fucking peck your face off. So well, yeah. Pricing, I think it's appropriate. I'm not going to give it a delta, and I'm not going to give it a bonus. I think $13 for how good this fucking cigar was, especially with how amazing the burn was, how amazing the construction was, and just the dynamic nature of the flavors overall, definitely worth 13.
Well, I guess it's now time for closing statements. Now I know I'm starting to sound a little bit like old Joe Biden here with my nonsensical ramblings that contradict everything I say throughout the period of this debate. But I'm going to leave you with this. There's a lot of things to think about of how much zombies have influenced our popular culture. It's no longer for me about this cigar. I'm just going to tell you that zombies are cool. Let's think about Bub from Day of the Dead. Cool ass fucking zombie, right? Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Phenomenal zombie, right? You've got Rob Zombie, or White Zombie, the band. And you've even got Cranberries that wrote that amazing song that goes, in your head, zombie, 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 E, E, E. Right? Forget everything Corey told you. Sure, if you want a good smoke, go with the goddamn Bride. You know what? I'm not here to convince you about which one's the better cigar. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you're going to smoke a Halloween cigar to get in the spirits of all the old spooky, ghosty, witchy type of season, the zombie is your pick. The zombie is your pick. So while I feel like an old defeated Joe Biden on the stage, I still have hopes that come this election this coming week, that my voters and my constituents will stick behind me in electing the Green Zombie Collector's Edition that you shouldn't collect as the winner of this head-to-head challenge. That's it. Thank you, and God bless Halloween.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Are you woke?
I got up this morning.
I didn't say are you awakened. Woke. Are you sensitive to the current culture and environment in the United States, Chris?
You talking about the thing in the middle of an egg?
That's a yolk. Close. Yeah. What I will say, Chris, is that part of my reason for picking the Bride was not because it's a Halloween edition cigar, but it's representative of much more than that today in our culture. The Bride is representative of strong females. And I could name many. One is currently running for vice president. Although she's a major cunt, she is a strong female.
Let's use better words. She's a monster.
She is a terrifyingly horrible Halloween monster. But she is a strong female, Chris. And I think in the culture of Me Too, and for all females and all brides that exist in the world, it is appropriate to say that with this such refined, caring, compassionate, yet strong female like the bride cigar, I think it's appropriate to not only say that is this cigar characteristically the better cigar of the two, but one of which has a connectedness to the culture currently. Zombie cigar doesn't have that. There's no connectedness to the culture other than the fact that maybe one day soon we'll all be dead, which is unfortunately a grim reality. But I think there's something sensible about the idea that currently where we are at, that the bride be put on the pedestal that it deserves to be put on. These strong female characteristics, yet subtle and wonderful flavors, all melding together to create such a wonderful experience, indicative of brides across the world. I don't think that you can argue that there's any aspect of the cigar that you smoke that would be better suited for the winner as a Halloween special edition here on the Cigar Head-to-Head Challenge and the Hot Ticket Podcast. It just wouldn't make sense. So to me, there's a clear winner. There's a clear choice in all of this. And it is absolutely the Tatuaje, the bride.
Okay, I'm gonna take another minute, and then I'll give you another minute because I'm a respectable candidate for this head-to-head challenge. So I will give you your due time. Here's what I'll say to you people. Corey makes a great argument. Speaks to the masses, right? Speaks to women. I get it. Good play. Good on you. Good on you, bro. But the grim reality that this world will be faced with a zombie apocalypse is more likely than the world being run by women. And just stick with me. Stick with me. Stick with me. But when that zombie apocalypse happens, the living, that's you, me, and even the females that you're speaking to, we're going to be the minority, because the majority is going to be those zombies running amok, eating your friends and family, taking over cities, ruling the world. So with that said, do you want to be part of the majority or the minority, aka basically you're the prey, you are the minority, you're dead, you know? Like, do you want to be that? Do you want to live in fear for the rest of your life? Living in shacks and little compounds, trying to make your own food, having a hard life? Or do you just want to make it easy and just join the majority, the zombies? Wouldn't it be easier? Wouldn't it be easier to be a zombie? I think so. I'll give you another minute. Go for it.
Chris, faced with the idea that a zombie apocalypse could occur, what better army to put together to fight and defeat the zombies than strong, intelligent women? Let me recap some strong, intelligent women in history that have flourished in the face of adversity. Joan of Arc, Michelle Obama. Not so much Michelle Obama. She had most of her shit handed to her. That's about the only one I could name is Joan of Arc. But the bride, I tell you, could build an army of strong, intelligent, willful females that could easily defeat an army of mindless, flesh-eating zombies. No doubt in my mind. Given the fact that was represented in the cigar is so amazing, the impact of that amazingness to the flesh, the dead flesh, and these mindless, senseless creatures that simply roam about to feed and feast with no intelligence whatsoever, easily defeated by the wonderful characteristics of the bride. The bride, the female who takes care of humanity and has for many, many years. There's no doubt in my mind that a zombie army could be easily defeated by a nominal amount of female presence, Chris. That's just a reality.
Well, I think we've ran out of time for this debate. So we'll leave it in the voters' hands, because I have a feeling a lot of you are going to be very confused on this episode. Like, you're going to be like, I don't even know what these guys are fucking talking about. And this is very synonymous with our last presidential candidate debate. You're not going to know who the fuck to vote for. Now, you might pick the bride. That's fine. You might pick the zombie. I'm all for you. I'm glad to have you as a voter. But we'll leave it to you to decide this coming week who wins this special edition of the head-to-head challenge Halloween edition.
Absolutely. It's in the voters' hands. It's in the voters' hands.
So we'll see come election time, bro.
We will see. And another important election that we have coming up in November is the presidential election, where we will decide who will ruin this country quickest. Will it be Joe Biden or will it be Donald Trump?
Yeah, no shit.
We'll decide.
No shit.
Do we have a year? Do we have 6 months? Do we have 2 months? Do we have 2 years? It's untelling. But no matter who's elected, it's going to be fucked up.
Zombie apocalypse is looking pretty good now.
Looking promising. It's looking very promising. When I asked you the question earlier about do you think Russia would invade us, it was essentially connected to the outcome of the presidential election. And by the way, it's either way. Either way, it's going to happen. Luckily, we are armed with a ton of firepower here in the United States, in particular the county that I live in. I feel very safe where I live now.
Yeah.
All right, let's conclude the episode. We ran about an hour and 12 minutes. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I thought from a cigar head-to-head challenge perspective, both cigars well represented by each of us. I am actually tickled to death that you picked a Viaje special edition. I didn't think they were out on shelves. Yeah, so I'm actually glad to see that that's what you picked. There was probably a multitude of cigars that you could pick. And I thought, even though every Viaje is a technical limited edition or special edition cigar, I think it was a good one to go with. I thought that was strong representation of the Halloween theme.
What was challenging is picking a cigar that I had never smoked before.
Right.
You know, like coming into a bait, you come in well prepared with a winner, right?
Right.
I came in not knowing whether or not it was a winner or not.
Yeah. So part of me felt through your argument that you were a defense attorney that knew that your defendant was guilty. Yeah. Like, motherfuckers going to jail. But it isn't for us to decide. It's for the collective audience to decide. So there'll be a period next week of which everybody can vote on who the clear winner is, which we'll, of course, announce on the next podcast and announce on the site. We'll see who takes the honors. I won the first one, the first head-to-head challenge we did. You won the second one, so we're currently 1-1. This will decide that tiebreaker, but we're going to continue doing these, and we'll continue tallying them as far as who's the winners of each one. So
yeah.
And I'd say with that, Chris, you should probably get warm. You look a little chilled. I've got some steaks to grill out in the cold. Probably going to smoke a cigar. I will say this. I have Viaje's limited edition cigar from last year. It is currently on deck to smoke. So I may end up smoking that cigar today. I was actually, ironically enough, even though it wasn't a Halloween edition, I don't think, was the Viaje Ghost Pepper. But because it had Ghost in the name, I was like, oh, I was thinking about doing it. And it is in that Figurado Vitola as well. And I was like, man.
That one's
I was thinking about going with that because I had 3 of the bride, I was like, I'll sacrifice one bride, as I probably will do in real life, and save the other 2.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was just more appropriate. But the ghost pepper was my number 2. That was my number 2 choice for. So it'd have been interesting to have 2 viajes up,
It would have been.
which was there was a pretty high likelihood that it could have ended up that way. I was literally doing,
Yeah.
and ended up choosing the bride. But
Yeah. Good choice.
there you have it. We will conclude episode 170. I can't believe we're at 170. How crazy is that? I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, we just concluded episode 169, which was an absolute shit show, but really fun episode to record, which is available now. You can get that. You can see reviews on our website. Didn't have anything new released this week, but we broke down the Aladino, Connecticut last week. Chris put up a review of the My Father Fonseca last week, and I put up a review of the new Camacho Nicaragua, which is live on the site now. You can check that out. I just promoted it today on Instagram, so you can check that one out. And I've got a couple of reviews in the pipeline for next week, so you can check that out, www.hotticketweekly.com. Also check out our site sponsor, www.mycigarpack.com. $10 off your first order. Enter in promo code hot ticket, or is it hot 10 at checkout. And I will say this, just to give a little bit of a nugget for our audience. We have something very, very, very special coming in December. We will announce the details of what this special something is in an upcoming episode, but hang tight. We're kind of getting everything situated and figured out now. But we have something really special coming up that'll release in December. So hang tight for that.
Yeah, and make sure, like, it's been a while, to help us get to the top of the charts and recommendations, please leave a like or subscribe to all of our podcasts on iTunes, Google, et cetera, because that'll help other people find us as well. So please do that as well, because they've changed the algorithm, iTunes did. Which isn't, I don't think it's called iTunes now. It's like, there's like a podcast one.
It's called Apple Podcasts, I think.
Yeah. So please like and subscribe to that, because that'll also help other cigar smokers find us more easily the more you rate us.
Yeah, and I'll also say, if you like watching the episodes, you can watch them on YouTube. There's, of course, the mannerisms that exist between Chris and I. There's the visual aspect to it. I was never a fan before of watching podcasts. Now I watch all my favorite ones. I just get more of the context of the episode if I watch them. So you can watch us on YouTube. You go to youtube.com. We are under Hot Ticket Weekly. So you can search for that, and you can see all of our episodes are posted on the website.
Yep.
So check that out as well.
Yep.
With that, Chris, I'm going to go grill some steaks, and you have a wonderful evening, and the rest of you have a wonderful week. Hope you're enjoying the autumn weather as much as we are. It will be very, very short-lived.
Yep.
All right. That concludes episode 160. We will be back at you. Episode 170. We'll be back at you next week with episode 171. See you, everyone.
Yep.